So let's talk about a new kind of global power struggle. This one isn't fought with armies and tanks, but with contracts, with code, and with megawatts. We're going to dive into how AI's absolutely insatiable hunger for energy is kicking off a brand new, high-tech scramble for the world's resources.
All right, to really get into this, let's start with a huge question. If you were some alien species looking down at Earth, how would you even begin to measure our progress? Would it be our art, our borders, or would it be something way more fundamental?
Well, there's this fascinating concept called the Kardashev Scale. It suggests you can rank a whole civilization just by how much energy it can harness. So a level 1 civilization, that's one that can use all the energy available on its home planet. Level 2 can control its entire star, and level 3? Well, that's a civilization that commands the power of its whole galaxy. The point is, when you zoom all the way out, energy is the ultimate report card.
Now let's bring that cosmic idea right back down to Earth. Just look at a picture of our planet at night. Those bright, glowing spots, those are the hubs of wealth, innovation, and technology. And the dark spots? They're often energy-starved, just brimming with potential that can't be unlocked. It proves the same point. Even right here, right now, energy is power.
And you know what? That global competition for energy is about to go into overdrive. The reason? Artificial intelligence. Training these gigantic new AI models takes a mind-boggling amount of electricity. We're talking as much as an entire city sometimes. This incredible hunger for power is what's fueling the next great global race.
And that brings us right to the heart of what we're talking about today, Colonization 2.0. Forget the old-school idea of planting flags and military conquest. This is a much quieter, more subtle scramble for resources. It's about extracting energy and data, not with guns, but with contracts, debt, and control over digital pipes. To really understand what's happening right now, we actually have to look back. Because, believe it or not, this exact playbook has been used before. And it wasn't run by a government. It was run by a single, unbelievably powerful company.
I'm talking about the British East India Company. They showed up in India in the 1600s, looking like simple traders, but over the next 2 centuries, using a mix of clever deals, political maneuvering, and eventually their own private army. This one company ended up controlling an entire subcontinent.
So how on earth did they pull that off? Well, it wasn't just brute force. They were absolute masters of divide and conquer, playing local kingdoms against each other. They'd win over the local elites with promises of wealth and power. And because there was no unified resistance, they could operate in the gaps. But crucially, they controlled the flow of information.
And what about the folks back in Britain? Well, most of them were either completely in the dark or they were convinced to just rationalize it. Why? Because the money and goods flowing back home were just too good to question. It was the perfect mix of economic incentive and narrative control.
Okay, now let's hit fast forward and come back to today. Because that exact same playbook, economic leverage, co-opting elites, controlling the narrative, it's being deployed right now as we speak. The only thing that's changed, the prize isn't spices and textiles anymore. It's energy and data.
And you can see the very real stakes of this by looking at 2 different paths being taken in South Asia right now. One path involves offering up cheap electricity, which can lead to political pressure from the outside and getting trapped in a cycle of debt. But there's another path, a path of resistance, forming new alliances like BRICS, the bloc with Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, to build independent tech and really fight for control over your own energy and data.
So let's break down this modern playbook piece by piece. How exactly do these new digital empires get their hooks in?
It really comes down to these 4 pillars. Step 1, you lock in contracts for cheap energy to power all those AI data centers. Step 2, you start extracting the incredibly valuable data of that country's citizens. Step 3, you use debt and other economic deals to gain leverage. And Step 4, you use that leverage to start influencing political decisions. It's a quiet, systematic takeover.
So when you really strip it all back, you can see it plain as day. The tools are different, it's contracts and code instead of armies, and the key resources are different, energy and data instead of spices. But the underlying logic of extraction, it's the exact same game, just rewritten for our digital world.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty bleak, right? But here's the thing, it's not the end of the story. Just as the tools of domination have evolved, so have the tools for fighting back. Nations are absolutely not powerless here.
So what does a modern resistance toolkit look like? Well, it starts with digital sovereignty, the idea that a nation controls its own data and its own tech. Then there are regional alliances, which give you collective bargaining power. Using open-source AI models prevents you from getting locked into one company's ecosystem. And maybe the most important tool of all, citizen awareness. People have to know what's at stake to push back.
And check this out. New tech can also be an amazing defense. Take blockchain, for example. Just imagine a public, unchangeable record where any citizen could see, in real time, every energy contract their country signs. How much harder would it be to make shady backroom deals if everyone was watching?
All right, let's bring this all home and circle right back to where we started with that big cosmic perspective. Because that core lesson from the Kardashev Scale, it is just as true right here on our little planet. The struggle to control energy and to control knowledge, whether that knowledge is our personal data or the secrets inside an AI model, is, at its heart, a struggle to control what comes next. It's a struggle for the future itself. And when you put the two eras side by side, the parallels are just striking. The weapon changed from armies to code. The key resource changed from spices to data. But look at that last row. Visibility. Back then, it was low. Today, it is potentially high. That one word, potentially, changes everything. It's where all the power to resist really comes from.
So I want to leave you with a question that makes all of this personal. This isn't just about some abstract geopolitical chess game. This is about your electricity bill, your personal data, your nation's future. So what would you do? What if you found out that the energy meant to power your home and your city was quietly being siphoned off to another continent just to train some corporation's AI? It's a question we might all have to answer a lot sooner than we think.